All right, welcome back to Matt's Math and More for today's installment of Math and No More. Hey, don't forget to go back on down there and hit like and send me a comment or something. Love to know who's listening to these and if they're helpful or not, and see how things are going in your life. Today's video corresponds with homework 811 in 5th grade math expressions. And so what that is a follow-up on volume. And we learned yesterday that volume equals length times width, that's a W, times height. Very important to keep using that formula, not only for keeping track of volume, but for like next year and years after when you get to middle school and you get to like high school math. It's going to be much easier if you got the formula all together and you understand how to use formulas, because the problems are going to get larger and larger and larger, and the better you are at using a formula, the better you're going to be at math. I know I forgot to say it. It's going to be scary. It's going to be really hard, but not as scary as running across a busy New York street. All right, let's take a look at this volume problem. In this case, we're not finding the volume. If you notice, the volume's given to us. Volume equals 140 feet cubed. We have a length. We don't have a width. That's what we're trying to find. And we have a height. Let's take a look at how you solve that. Use the same formula. It's exactly the same. And we're doing some substitutions. So we know volume's 140. I'm just going to leave off the units in the cubed because I just want to deal with my numbers right now. I know length is 7. Width I don't know. And height I do know is 5. Okay. So I know 140 is 7 times something times 5. Now I can use a commutative property of multiplication, and that's what helps me out a ton here, that commutative property. It says I can multiply in any order. So basically I can do 7 times 5. I know that one. And then I can worry about the rest later. So I know 140 equals 7 times 5, 35, and W, 35 W's, or 35 times W. This would be how you write it. You don't need to put the multiplication sign in there. This is just standard mathematical computation. That really means 35 times W. So 140 equals 35 W's. And you can probably see in your head the way to get rid of this is you just divide 140 by 35. And that'll give you what W is. To make it look mathematically correct, or to make it mathematically correct, if I divided by 35 here, I divide by 35 here also. Kind of just like fractions, whatever you do to the top, you do to the bottom. When you're getting a variable, W, by itself, I do the same to each side of an equation. Because it's an equation, it means you have to keep things equal. So if I'm going to do it here, I got to be fair and keep it equal over here. Really what that means is when you did 35 divided by 35, that comes out to be 1. So it leaves me with 1 W. And 140 divided by 35, well, then that's when you just go back over to your scrap paper. You might know it in your head. Divided by 35. Let's see, 35 times what is 140? Well, I know I have to end in a 0, so 5 times, 5, 10, 15, 20. If I did it 5 times 4, it's going to end in a 0. I know that because 20 ends in a 0. So let's try it. 5 times 4 is 20. 12. Hey, look at that. I got it. I really look so brilliant, but I did this before. See, look. I had it all prepared in my head. I knew what I was going to say to you. I didn't really know that. Anyway, 140 divided by 35 is 4. So 4 equals W. So if you go back over here to your original homework problem, if you had like 147, we came out with W equals 4 feet. No problems. Ooh, running across a busy New York street.